Coming up today, New Year's Eve celebrations have been kicking off around the world to mark the arrival of 2016. Most of the world's major cities celebrate with spectacular firework displays. Korea's National Assembly Speaker says he will ask the National Election Commission to resolve the electoral system standoff after the rival parties failed to reach a compromise by the midnight deadline. Plus, a huge fire is broken out in a luxury hotel in the centre of Dubai, near where a big New Year's Eve fireworks display was about to start. It's unclear what caused the fire. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Friday, January 1st, 2016, here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us and Happy New Year. I'm Mark Broom. Countries around the world have begun celebrating the arrival of the new year with the usual festivities. Korea welcomed in 2016 with a traditional bell-ringing ceremony at the Boshingak Pavilion in central Seoul. 11 people, including Seoul Mayor Park Won-soon, rang the bell 33 times at midnight as part of Korea's annual tradition to greet the new year. You can see it there. Australia, which was among the first countries to usher in 2016, celebrated with fireworks which lit up over the Sydney Opera House. China celebrated with performances and fireworks at the Imperial Ancestral Temple in Beijing's Forbidden City. Now, the atmosphere is slightly different in Europe, where security is tightened after the recent terror attacks in Paris. In the US, up to 1 million people are expected to gather at Times Square in New York to watch the famous ball drop at midnight. Now, 2015 was the year of the golden sheep, an animal associated with peace, harmony and protection. Now we are in the year of the fire monkey, and we might see our lives take a feisty turn, as those born under the monkey's realm are said to be smart, entertaining, but sometimes a little mischievous. Our Oh So Young has the details.
(2016) brings us the year of the fire monkey, or 병신년 in Korean. 병 meaning fire and the southern direction, and 신 meaning monkey.
Monkeys are intelligent creatures, as proven by many scientists. They're also very mobile, climbing trees, and they're also very agile.
Monkeys are considered as one of the most intelligent mammals, featuring many similarities with human behaviour. And these traits have earned the monkey many symbolic representations, including motherly love and success in the Korean culture.
The monkey comes 9th among the 12 zodiac animals, which also include the mouse, the cow and the tiger. And each year is represented by one of these 12 creatures.
It's believed the Chinese zodiac culture was introduced around the time of the Three Kingdoms. It also spread to East and Southeast Asian regions, but its impact on Korea was particularly strong.
The Chinese character for Shin not only means monkey, but also signifies the time slot from 3 to 5 p.m, the 7th month in the lunar calendar, and points to the southwestern direction. Based on observations from nature and age-old legends, the attributes of a zodiac animal were believed to determine a person's fate, disposition, and even relations with others. And to this day, the legend remains. Koreans still keep track of their birth animal and are optimistic when their year comes around. However, like horoscopes in the West, the zodiac signs are now viewed as more entertainment than prophecy.
It's hard to say that a person is born in the year of the monkey automatically takes on the animal's traits. But when we listen to all these superstitious claims, like the fact that monkeys are restless, the people born that year may try to be less so. So this may turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Although the zodiac culture isn't regarded with the superstitious awe it had in the past, it's still widely celebrated through marketing efforts and public events that feature the animal of that year. A huge monkey dangles on N's Seoul Tower, drawing odd reactions from the public, and a number of well-known brands are also releasing zodiac-themed products. And at the National Folk Museum, visitors can spot the zodiac monkey in various aspects of Korean culture. Drawn with pine trees, rocks and deer, monkeys represent long life, one of the 10 traditional symbols of longevity.
In art and pottery, monkeys symbolize power and success, and in folk tales and poetry, monkeys represent loneliness or thievery. And as one of the zodiac guardians, their red faces were believed to be charged with the yang energy, which could ward off evil spirits. In this way, the monkey symbolizes many different things.
Although there are many different sides to the monkey, this year's fire monkey is said to be competitive, determined and more ambitious than the others. So why not take the best of these qualities and live out a year with the monkey's flames of passion? And let yourself go a bit bananas. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
Now, President Park Geun-hye says she hopes 2016 will bring Korea hope and energy in the year of the monkey, which symbolizes, as we heard, creation and wisdom. In her annual New Year's message, the president repeated her call for innovation and major reforms in the public sector, labor, finance and education sectors to revitalize the economy and spark job creation. She also said that national security is fundamental to the nation's growth, adding that Seoul will maintain its full defense readiness posture and prepare for the reunification of the two Koreas, while also keeping the door open for dialogue with Pyongyang. The message was posted to President Park's official Facebook and YouTube pages. South Korea's National Assembly Speaker has handed over the task of redrawing the country's electoral map to a special committee under the National Election Commission. In a statement released at midnight, so around 6 hours ago, Jung Ui-hwa asked the committee to come up with measures to revise the electoral system by next Tuesday, January 5th. Jung said the current system became invalid at midnight following a constitutional court ruling in October 2014 that the electoral map was unconstitutional. The Speaker said maintaining the number of National Assembly seats at 300 is critical to prevent possible chaos ahead of general elections set for April 13th. The move comes after the rival parties failed to break a long standoff over reforming constituency boundaries. Now, a huge fire has broken out at a high-rise luxury hotel in Dubai ahead of the city's New Year celebrations there. The fire at the Address Downtown Hotel is close to the world's tallest skyscraper, the Burj Khalifa. Officials say the fire broke out on the 20th floor of the 63-story building as people gathered nearby to celebrate. The local authorities say around 15 people have suffered minor injuries. The city's world-famous fireworks show to welcome in 2016 actually continued as scheduled despite the fire, which is still burning as we speak. There's no indication so far of what might have caused the blaze. Now, the international community was tasked with reducing carbon emissions at the Paris Climate Summit in November. Korea, for one, aims to reduce emissions by 37% by the year 2030, so in 14 years from now. It adopted an emission trading program a year ago, and our Kim Min-ji takes a look at whether it's going to help Korea actually achieve that goal.
Korea's emission trading scheme got off to a sluggish start. After a year of the system being adopted, the trading volume came to a mere 4.4 million tons. To give that figure some context, it makes up less than 1% of Korea's emissions cap for 2015, or some 540 million tons.
It's a really beginning stage. It's very hard to tell right now because emission trading system is a very, very new market mechanism in Korea. Maybe adjusting period should be required, probably maybe within 3 years.
So how does the system work? The scheme gives companies an allowance, and if they surpass the cap, they can buy credits from others. If they don't hit the cap, they can sell leftover credits. The market-based policy is currently being implemented in 34 countries worldwide, including EU members and New Zealand. In Korea, 525 companies, including Samsung Electronics and POSCO, are taking part, with 1 ton traded at around $10. Come June, the first evaluation period will take place and will provide a glimpse into whether the system is working or not. But some experts say structural changes are needed if Korea really wants to reduce emissions down the line.
The cheap trading price is diverting companies from reducing carbon emissions as it's more profitable to buy credit rather than sell. Another downside is cheap energy prices in Korea. Due to the cheap prices of energy sources in Korea, such as fossil fuels or electricity, companies find no reason to invest in renewable energy sources.
Korea has pledged to cut carbon emissions by 37% by 2030. While it may not be an easy task, experts say Korea is far behind global standards. They say local companies should not think of reducing carbon emissions as a burden, but as new business opportunities and a benefit for the economy as a whole. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Now it's that time of year when people make New Year's resolutions, and for many, quitting smoking still tops the list of goals to accomplish. With last year's price hike on cigarettes in Korea, one would imagine that it might have become easier to stub out the unhealthy habit, but it seems like it really is not. Our Iji-won has more.
Exactly a year ago, the government nearly doubled the price of cigarette packs to 4,500 Korean won, or roughly $3.85. The aim was to encourage people to quit smoking, but the question is, just how effective has the measure been?
I stopped smoking when the price first went up, but then I started again 2 months later.
I only quit smoking for 3 months.
Before the tax was imposed, the government had said it was expecting cigarette sales to drop by about 34% from the previous year, but the data shows a decrease of just 24%. According to data from the Korea Tobacco Association, cigarette sales dipped slightly in the first few months of 2015, but crept back up again as the year went on. By the second half of the year, cigarette sales had dropped to about 300 million packs a month, only slightly less than the year before. Based on the data, it doesn't appear many people have been able to quit. That's certainly been the case at a government smoking cessation program launched by the National Health Insurance Service. The program began in February and more than 162,000 people signed up through September. Of those people, only 3,400, just 2%, have quit smoking. However, some experts say it's too early to tell, as people need at least 6 months after they finish the 12-week program to be counted as successful. Meanwhile, the government still has faith in its programs, and it has other plans to help lower smoking rates.
Along with the tax, the government had planned to initiate other anti-smoking policies, including a plan to put images showing the effects of smoking on cigarette packs. The new packaging will only come onto the market in December 2016 due to the amount of preparation time required. But when it does, it's expected to have a significant impact.
The expert said Korea should also ban in-store cigarette displays and all cigarette ads. He said if these policies were put into place, the government would see the number of smokers in the country decrease significantly. Iji-won, Arirang News.
Now, public utility fees, including public transportation and water, are set to increase this year. Local governments have pointed to financial difficulties as the reason, but are facing criticism from residents. Park Se-young has the details.
Here in Seoul, 21 out of the city's 25 districts are planning to raise the price of trash bags early this year if they haven't already last year. That would raise the price of a 20-liter trash bag to 440 Korean won, or about 40 cents. Citizens are required to buy the bags or their trash isn't picked up. A city gas price hike that was postponed last October is also likely to come up again in the near future. Busan, Daegu, and Incheon are scheduled to raise water prices starting this year, with the rate of increase ranging between 6 and 10%. On top of that, people in Daegu will also see a huge rise in the price of trash bags, which are slated to go up by nearly 70%. And city bus and subway fares in Gyeongsangbuk-do province, where Daegu is located, will rise by around 10 cents. Most of the rest of Korea is expected to raise utility fees and public transportation fares sometime this year. Local governments say they have held off on raising utility fees to reduce the burden on their citizens, but a price hike has become inevitable in the face of growing budget deficits. In response, civic groups are criticizing the governments for raising fees amid the drop in global oil prices and making the decision without any community involvement. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Well, that's all we have for now. Thank you as always for watching, and once again, Happy New Year to all of our viewers around the world. We'll be back at noon Korea time with our next newscast. Until then, goodbye.